Hi everybody, this is Chaz.
And Lulu.
And today we're going to talk about Pokemon Day.
Yep, Pokemon Day is coming up.
Coming up, yeah. And so we wanted to give you a little bit of perspective on the whole series and some of the games that we really enjoy. So sit back and here we go.
Hope you enjoy our collection.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the original Pokemon game.
Yep, so we're going to start off with the Game Boy version. So we have Pokemon, the red version on the Game Boy, and this one is in the box. So are these your original or?
They are. They're my original childhood copies of Red and Blue, which we actually, my brother and I got every single Pokemon in the game. All 151 Pokemons on each cartridge. So that, of course, took a long time as a kid, but of course we enjoyed it a lot, and we had to trade between the two games, which is what the game is all about back then, is collecting a whole bunch of great Pokemon, but then also trading with your brother or your friend and getting all of them.
And who's on the cover of this one?
That one is Charizard. Yeah.
And then we got the blue one in the box.
Yeah, and that one has Blastoise on it. Yep. And so these are worth a lot now because obviously they're original from Toys R Us, and I think they're like I know Red is now like about $330. It's at the time of showing this, and then Blue is like $200 something now. So Pokemon has always been a very expensive series.
Right, and then we also have Pokemon Gold.
Yes, Pokemon Gold, which later had a remake of Heart Gold on the DS. And so got that at a convention last year. Pretty good price, and nice to add that to the collection. It's one of like the original-ish games on the Game Boy. And then a Goodwill find from, oh man, a long time ago now.
Pokemon Yellow.
It's Pokemon Yellow, the Pikachu edition. It's always cool to have that.
You will not find these at the Goodwill
No,
these days.
not anymore. And having the box for this is insane. So like obviously it's up there with having the red and blue in the box. I don't think I'm ever gonna have that in the box, but you never know.
I wonder how much we paid for that. I don't even remember.
It was in a lot of Game Boy games, so I think we got it for pennies on the dollar.
I think we have one more.
Yeah, we have one more on Game Boy, and this one's kind of an interesting one, which is Pokemon Pinball. And so this one has kind of a rumble feature there, and let me see if it has a battery in there or not. Yeah, there's a little compartment for I think it's a AAA battery. And so that's pretty cool. We love those pinball games, and Pokemon Pinball is no exception, I'm sure. It's quite fun. So yeah, so that is Game Boy. Okay, so now N64 Pokemon games.
Yep.
I was lucky enough last year to get the Pokemon N64, the Pikachu edition. So I'm very, very happy to have that. His cheeks light up and everything, and that has a Pokeball power button on there. And many, many years ago, I also got the controller from a flea market. It was one of the first days I was collecting retro game items, and so I got the controller for only $5. So that was pretty amazing. This controller is worth quite a bit now, and so it's a matching set now. So very happy to have that in the Pokemon collection. To actually have a special edition console is super awesome. Even though I don't have the box, I'm very grateful for what I do have. Alright, so now the games, of course. So on that same day that I got this controller, we were actually able to get Pokemon Stadium for $5 as well. So this was another great pickup. It is a fantastic game. Mine doesn't have a name on it or anything. I know a lot of kids, when they got this originally, they wrote their name on there. This game belongs to. Mine is blank, so it actually looks kind of nice in the collection just the way it is.
Yep.
Next we have Hey Pikachu.
Oh yeah, this one's
Hey
was
You
a
Pikachu.
cheap game for a while.
It's a cheap game because you do need the microphone, and it's kind of like a gimmicky game. Not really like a very highly collectible game. I think if you have the box and everything, it's worth a little bit more, but it's overall, I mean, it's a cute game. It came with this console, but not highly regarded in general by most collectors. It's just kind of like an okay game.
Yep. And then we've got Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah, so this is a really fun one, you know, of all the puzzle games. This one is super fun to play, and I mean, it's kind of like playing Tetris Attack. It's super fun, and there's a lot going on with it. Having to match different colors, and then they disappear as you play. So very, it's a good staple for the N64. I think it's a fun game, and I say go check it out if you haven't already checked it out.
This one is super special because it has the Blockbuster.
Yeah, it's got the Blockbuster
back,
sticker on the back, so
it is super.
it's worth like $200 more. Haha,
No.
just kidding. All right,
It's more nostalgic that way.
it is for sure.
And then the last one we have on N64 is Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, so
They
Pokemon
just
Snap
say-
is, this is the original one, which back in the day I was, very attached to this game. I used to babysit this kid, and we played this game, and it was super, super fun. I even remember another memory of mine is going to Blockbuster where they had the kiosk where you could actually print the pictures from Pokemon Snap,
Wow.
which is really, really cool. And so it's a really great game. So of course when they came out with the new Pokemon Snap, I had to have the new one on the Switch. But this is a really good game, and it's underrated. And it's actually a really beautiful game because you get to take great pictures of Pokemon hiding through the world, and there's a lot going on in the game. It's actually really fun. So, yeah. So that is N64 right there. Okay, so moving on, we're going to talk about one of the other great generations of games, which is the Game Boy Advance. And so we had a pretty good score back in the day from Goodwill. And we were able to get like an entire little Game Boy Advance collection just from one Goodwill find. And so it came with a lime green Game Boy back in the day, and all these awesome Pokemon games. So we got Fire Red. This one is actually a little bit dog chewed, but it actually does work. So the top is a little bitten off and everything, but the cartridge itself actually works fine. So we're actually pretty happy to have that still. Especially because it was pennies on the dollar compared to buying these brand new. Next one is Ruby version. This one has nothing wrong with it at all, and it actually works. Next is Leaf Green. So that's a nice one as well. A little scuff on the cartridge, but other than on the label, but otherwise pretty good. Emerald. This one is very expensive, and I actually had a pretty unfortunate soldering accident with this one. And so this one does not work anymore, unfortunately, because when I was replacing the battery, unfortunately, it got a little fried. The board got a little fried. So I'm going to have to probably buy a new board for that at some point, or just sell it for parts. Then we have Pokemon Pinball, another little fun one. Different than this one is Ruby and Sapphire. It's different than the one on the Game Boy. And yeah, that is all the ones for Game Boy Advance. Let us know which one is your favorite on the Game Boy Advance. Okay, so next moving on to Nintendo DS Pokemon games, and boy were there a lot of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, and we
a
were
lot of
able to
these-
get a lot of good deals
Yeah.
back in the day on these DS games.
Yeah, so back in the day it was really easy to get DS Lites at Goodwill. We'd get them for like $10, $12, some maybe $20 sometimes at most. And a lot of them we did end up flipping, and a lot of them we ended up keeping also, so kind of a whole mix.
Yep.
But a lot of them did come with lots of games, because they come in one of those like cases. You'd open the case up, and there'd be a nice DS Lite and a nice assortment of games.
Yeah,
and
that
after a
was
while,
really nice.
you'd have a nice Pokemon collection for
Yep.
pretty cheap. So
So we only have 3 that are loose for DS, and we're still searching for the cases.
yeah, and the cases are pretty expensive right now. Still,
Yeah,
I would
especially
say.
we've got Pokemon Black
Yeah, Pokemon Black. Yeah.
and Pokemon
Trojan.
Trozen, if I'm
Right,
saying
Trojan,
that
yeah,
right.
I don't even know if that's right or not.
And then this is what, the Pokemon
Ranger. Yeah.
Ranger.
And so, yeah, those are just the loose ones. We're working on getting boxes for them, of course. And here's the ones that we've completed so far. So we have Black version 2.
Black version 2,
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pokemon Platinum,
Pokemon Platinum, yeah, that one's a pretty good one too. Pearl.
Pearl, and I know that I think I
Oh,
got some
Piplup.
of these that are. I think we got some of these loose.
Yeah, we did get some of these loose, and
for
then
like
I think
$2 to $4 a piece.
yeah, and then so we were able to, over the years, we've been able to add some of those cases for like $10 to $15
Yeah.
and complete them. So
This is Pokemon Ranger.
Shadow of Alma. Yeah, that's another kind of side spin-off game on the Pokemon series, and then
Mystery Dungeon, the blue one.
yeah, Blue Rescue Team.
Rescue.
Yeah, and then we have
Another
two more.
Mystery Dungeon, Explorers in Time.
Yeah, That's another one I completed. It took a little while.
Is this our most expensive one?
One of the most expensive on the DS for sure.
Yeah, we have Soul Silver, which I definitely paid like $4 for.
Yeah, $4. It was complete for $4.
I think that it was complete. Yeah, for $4.
So the only thing you can see on the back here, it does say not for resale. So this is probably the version that was sold with the Pokewalker with the big box.
Which we're missing.
Which we're missing, but for $4, I mean, who can complain when you get this game for $4? It's a pretty epic find, even back in the day. Pretty amazing. Alright, let us know which is your favorite DS Pokemon game in the comments, and we're going to move on to the next one. Alright, so next is the 3DS.
Yep. So when I bought my Yoshi 3DS, I got this Pokemon, the Pokemon X.
Yeah.
Came with it, and it came with a bunch of other games. So
really
I was
fun game.
so happy to get that bundle. It was a Facebook deal, and it was a great deal for the Yoshi 3DS. So
Oh yeah.
I'm so happy that that came with it. And then we have Pokemon Omega Ruby, and Pokemon Sun, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, Pokemon Moon, and Detective Pikachu, the first one.
Yes. Those are all really good games. 3 of those games I actually was able to get from Target back in the day when they were clearancing out a lot of the Pokemon games. And so I ended up buying, I think, 2 of each of them, selling one, using the money that I got from proceeds, and able to keep a copy for ourselves for the collection for a lot cheaper. And they were already really cheap back then when they were liquidating those 3DS games. So good strategy when you see something like that, like especially Pokemon games or Mario games or Zelda games, and they're a good price. Buy 2, sell 1, and keep 1, because Pokemon is always worth a good amount of money, and even if you have to wait a month or 2 for a lot of other people's clearance to clear out and a lot of those games to sell, do it. It's always worth it. Okay, so now we're gonna do 3 different consoles at once, because there's really not too many on any of these.
Yeah.
But that would be GameCube first, so let's go over GameCube.
Yep.
So we are lucky enough to get both of these from the Goodwill for...
Well, this one's from Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
I bought it on Facebook. I think it was $35 for this Pokemon.
Gale of Darkness.
Yeah. And this is such an awesome... I mean, if you look at the cover, it's lenticular. It's like
it's
shiny.
a little lenticular, yeah.
It's beautiful. This cover, the whole case, it is just such a perfect looking game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got lucky back in the day to get that.
This we got from Goodwill for $5.
Yes, that was a good
And
deal.
it was mixed into a lot of the media, and so I dug through it, as I always did with a lot of my GameCube games I found back in the day. At Goodwill, they had a whole shelf, and I was just digging and digging, and boom, pulled a diamond out of the rough, Pokemon Coliseum.
Beautiful.
Now that, at the time, that this did not come with a manual, and so I did search eBay for a decent manual. The one I have is it's not great. I would probably rate it like a 5 or a 6, but at least it's complete now, and so I maybe paid like $10-15 for the manual, and disc and the game work fine, and so now this one is complete. So very happy to have those 2 in the collection for GameCube.
Yeah, we're moving on to the Wii. So we have Pokemon Battle Evolution. And this one I think we got for a good deal also.
Yeah, I think it was like $10 or $15, which is, I think,
deal.
still under the price that it goes for now.
I think it's like $35 or so right now, so that's a pretty good deal, $10. And then we have Pokepark, the first one. We are still waiting.
For the second
yeah,
one.
We're still looking for the second one for a good price, which I think now it probably went up to like in the 30s. So
Yeah.
trying to see if we find it in the wild.
Yeah, maybe at
for
a
good
convention
price.
or something, we'll see it for a decent
Yeah.
price, but you never know. Sometimes you have to bundle to get a good price.
These
at
are really
conventions.
cute. And then the Wii U.
Yeah, so this one, the Wii U, we only really have one, which is Pokémon Tournament. Great fighting game though. This game I am so happy to have in the collection, and I waited a very long time to get this on the Wii U for a good price. And so this is actually, I think, it might be the first print run of it, because it does have a Dark Mew amiibo card included. And so this one is actually pretty cool. I still have mine sealed in there, but the amiibo support has on the back there, and it's got the disc and everything. So that is a nice kind of first print run of Pokémon Tournament. Have you guys played this game? It's really great.
Is the one that they ported into the Switch?
Yeah, it's on the Switch, and this is like, it feels like playing Tekken. I mean, it's basically, I think it is published by, as far as I remember, this one is actually published by Bandai Namco, but Nintendo kind of like worked with them on it, and it really plays like a Tekken game. It plays really, really well. It's very buttery smooth, like gameplay for a fighting game. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So that is that section. Okay, of course the last section has got to be the Nintendo Switch.
Yep.
They have come up with so many great Pokemon games on the Switch, from remakes to just ports to brand new entries in the series, and we're really happy with the games that they have so far. The first one was obviously the port of Red and Blue, and basically Pikachu, which is the yellow version. So that would be Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. And so I was lucky enough to get the launch edition, which had the Pokeball Plus in there with the game. So I have the Eevee version of that. And later on, I got, just for the collection, I got the Pikachu version. And so both of these games are adorable, fantastic ports of the original Game Boy, with the catch mechanics really cool with the throwing the Pokeball at the screen. And so it kind of reminds me like the Wii generation of motion controls and stuff like that, but really, really awesome. Okay, so next is probably my favorite Pokemon game at the moment, which is actually Pokemon Legends Arceus. I love the catch mechanic in this game, how you can basically see the character in third person and just have him pucking a Pokeball into the bushes or at the actual Pokemon and catching it. And it doesn't have those traditional battles where you're like sitting there for 2 minutes hitting a button, hitting a button, which is great still. They went back to that obviously, but this one's very refreshing. I'd say I love the whole background of the game. It feels very Japanese style, and the mix of Pokemon, there's a good amount in there. It's not too many, but I was able to get absolutely every single one in the game. So really enjoyed this one. It's still my favorite out of the bunch. Okay, so now going to the latest entry in the series, which is Violet. I don't have Scarlet yet. I'm waiting for this to go down in price, or maybe I'll try to pick up the one with the DLC included, which is probably close to $100 now, which is insane. But Violet was good. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of glitches in the game, especially when I played it back when it first came out. Now it's probably changed a little bit. They've patched it. But overall, the game is really great. It's a great open world game. Lots and lots of Pokemon in the game, and it's super fun to play. So don't let the little graphical glitches ruin it for you. It's a very good game still. Okay, so then I would say another game that I absolutely adore is actually Pokemon Sword and Shield. I started with Sword, and Shield was the one I got later on. And so I was actually trading with a coworker, and she had Shield, and Sword was actually the one I had, and so she actually traded me a bunch of Pokemon in that game at the time, and so I was able to complete pretty much all the ones that were in Shield I got in Sword. And so I do love the graphics in the game. It's just amazing. I think the graphical engine in this should have been used in Violet, but it wasn't, unfortunately. So I think Sword is actually one of the best games I've played as a Pokemon game. Okay, so now we have a remake of the ones on the, I believe it's on the DS.
Yeah.
So we have Brilliant Diamond, still sealed, and Shining Pearl. And so these still have that chibi style, like feels like a Game Boy Advance, DS style of Pokemon game. So your character is pretty small. It's not like a full fleshed out character, but it still feels really freshly done in general. So I know a lot of people enjoy the more Game Boy style of Pokemon, and so they're able to get both of those. And now these are kind of cheap. They're not super expensive. I don't know if people enjoy them as much, but I know that the sales kind of show that they're not doing super great. So I would say if you're looking for one of those for a deal, they usually are pretty well priced.
Okay, and then we have the new Pokemon Snap. So we saw the one on N64, and this is the new Pokemon Snap on the Switch. And this is the same style.
It is, yeah. It's pretty much the same style, and only obviously the graphics are, oh my gosh, so much better. Everything's so colorful, and I mean the amount of Pokemon on the screen at once is just staggering. You're just like, wow. It just really feels fleshed out, and they have a lot of great mechanics in there. You go underwater, and there's a whole bunch of really cool things in that one. And so I'll say that one is super fun. So check that one out.
And we were just talking about the Pokémon tournament on the Wii U. So this is the port, but they added some to this. So this is like
this
deluxe
is a deluxe DX version.
Yeah.
I don't quite remember what was added to this to make it DX, but at the time I was like, you know what, I want to get this as well on the Switch. And it's super fun. I think this one might have just more characters in general, because this one I think has 21 Pokemon versus the other one I don't think had quite as many. Yeah, I don't think it has quite as many as the Switch version. So, and then we have 2 more to go. So we have
this one, the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Yes. So this is another one that's super fun to play. It's kind of like, you know, you're going through the dungeon, you're trying to rescue a bunch of Pokemon. And yeah, it's pretty fun. It's you know, it's not quite as deep as the other ones, and you're not like catching Pokemon. You are battling, but you're not. It's not the same. And so this one we got for pretty cheap from GameStop. They were, I think, clearancing out a few games, and we were able to get that one. We bought 2, and we ended up selling 1. And so same sort of deal.
And then this is my Pokemon game for the Switch. This is Detective Pikachu, the second one.
Returns, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the second one. The
Another
other one's on the 3DS.
Mystery game where you play as Detective Pikachu and the kid that's with him. And so you're going through a bunch of different mysteries and trying to figure out what happened. And Pikachu's talking to the Pokemon, and the kid is talking to the other, you know, the humans. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that one is super
good one
cute.
too, yeah.
We will still never watch the movie.
Yeah. Not big fans of the movie, but we play the games, for sure.
Yes.
Alright. Okay, so we're just going to do a quick quiz. What do you guys think is the most expensive game out of all the Pokemon games we have
in
here?
our collection, yeah.
Well, if you guessed Pokemon Red on the Game Boy, then you would be right. This one is by far the most expensive by at least $100 between the second and the first. And so, yeah. So
you're very happy to hold on to that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's a game that I've had since it came out. So I've taken good care of my games, my Game Boy games especially. And so, yeah. When did you guys start playing Pokemon? Have you just recently started, or have you been playing it for decades and decades at this point, like me? So leave us a comment. When did you start playing Pokemon?
And what is your favorite Pokemon game?
And what is your favorite one? Yeah. What's the one that you enjoy the most? They're like, oh man, I love playing this game.
Also, what is your favorite Pokemon? Like, is it Pikachu, the Psyduck? Yeah. Who is your favorite Pokemon?
I know you love Snorlax, you love Piplup.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, it's very difficult because they're all cute, so it's a hard choice. I was a little bit older for Pokemon, so I remember when the anime came out, and some people, I don't really remember the cards too much, but I remember the anime, and I was in high school, a little bit too old. So I really didn't get into it until I met you, and you started much earlier.
Yeah, I was the right generation for Pokemon, so basically I played the Game Boy game when I was a kid. I played the card game a little bit, or I collected the cards when I was a kid, with the kid I babysat. And let's see, what else? Yeah, pretty much all that. And I watched a TV show too when I was a kid, a lot. And so I was pretty much the prime example of somebody who loves Pokemon. And back then there weren't that many other series of games for Nintendo like they are now. there was no Fire Emblem really, and there weren't a lot of other, like Xenoblade wasn't a thing yet. So Pokemon was pretty big back then, and it has only gotten way more popular in the years since. So now the card game has absolutely exploded. There's been tons of movies on Pokemon.
And the shows.
The shows, yeah. There's another new show coming out on
Netflix.
And then there's that Concierge that just came out
that one
recently.
is really cute. Oh,
really cute show. Check that out if you get a chance, because it's really
so
cute. The games, they just keep coming out with great games, and there's literally, you know, I'm not going to say hundreds, but there is so many great Pokemon games, and we want to say thank you, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Game Freak, for coming out with awesome games for us. And hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed the whole collection. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button when you get a chance. It just helps our channel grow, and you'll see more content from us. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good one. Bye.